What's up, guys? Andrew here. So this video, I'm going to talk about eBay flagging dropshippers' eBay accounts. Now, there are two types of flagging. There's the kind of flagging where the visibility of your listings is dramatically reduced and you get practically no sales compared to before. That's not what I'm talking about. That's another kind of flagging. It's kind of complicated, all these different flagging terms, like there's restrictions, flagging, throttling. I'm going to talk about that in future videos, like the differences between them all, just to kind of clear up the confusion. But this video, I'm going to share my screen, which will make it so much clearer. Right. We're going to take a little trip to my Facebook group. Jessica's messaging me, not now, Jessica. Yes. So actually, yeah, well, I got a message today from one of my coaching clients, and he said to me, I received the email from eBay. Well, he didn't say it in that voice, but he sounded alarmed. I've received an email from eBay, or a message from eBay saying this. We've determined that basically, we see you're dropshipping. And for this reason, you are no longer eligible for top rated. So, and this isn't actually my student here. So it's actually a coincidence that my student told me I got this message today, and then a couple of hours later I logged into my Facebook group and I saw our man Joe. He also received this today, which so that tells me first of all that eBay kind of sends these messages out in bulk, kind of like an automatic thing. The fact that two people got it on the same day, more than a coincidence. And in fact, the first time I heard about these kinds of messages was a year ago, actually slightly more than a year. As you can see, today is the 11th of February, 2020. And it was in actually January 2019 when these came out. And it actually happened like all of a sudden, like just out of nowhere. People were talking about this like a lot. Loads of people received this email and loads of people alarmed. Everybody's alarmed. Oh my God, they've taken away my top rated status. And which is inconvenient, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. You might get like 5% less sales or 5% less profit because of it. So really, it's nothing. But I think the issue really was, okay, they've seen I'm a dropshipper. Does that mean my eBay account's going to close down? Or does it mean that the visibility of my listings is going to go down? And it seems that that's not the case. And I don't think I've received one of these. I might have done in the past on an old account. I'll talk about that in a second, but because I don't have much experience with this personally, so I made a couple comments on this. Something like yeah. So this guy is saying that he got it a while ago, or someone was saying that they got this a while ago, months ago. Then I asked the question. Okay, you got it months ago. What about now? Is your account still active? Is your account still alive? Are you still selling, or have you been shut down? And the guy was like, yeah, no, my account's still fine. And so that's all that matters. That's really, really all that matters. Top rated seller. It's nice. It's nice to be able to like walk around with the badge. I'm a top rated seller. But really, it has practically no effect on your sales or anything. That's practically no effect. First of all, when the buyers look at your listings, if you're a top-rated seller, it doesn't say top-rated seller. If you're a power seller, then it says you're a power seller. But if you're a top-rated seller, it doesn't matter. It doesn't say anything. One thing about the top-rated seller, One Plus, is that your final value fees are less, lowered by 10%, and that's confusing because it sounds at first. People are confused. I was confused at first. It sounds like so the final value fees on average. So final value fees when you sell an item, you have to pay roughly 10% of your sale price to eBay. That's your final value fee. So for example, if you sell an item for £60, you pay about £6 to eBay. You know, it's not always the case because different item categories, the final value fee changes depending on the category. I believe that for like DIY tools, you pay 6%, whereas like pet items, you pay higher, just that kind of thing. I don't really know the exact percentages of these categories because it makes like no difference to me, to be honest. It doesn't affect anything. So like top rated seller, you pay 10% less final value fees. That doesn't mean you go from paying 10% of value fees to no final value fees. What it means is you pay 10% less of the final value fees. So whereas normally you pay 10%, now you pay 10% less, so you now pay 9%. Or no, let me say it this way: if your final value fee, let's say you sell a £100 item, then your final value fee is average £10. So 10% less of that. That means now instead of paying £10, you pay £9. And you know, it sounds good. Like for example, if your final value fees, if your eBay fees are going to be £2,000 at the end of the month, now they're going to be 1,800 more or less, which is nice, but it really doesn't make a big deal. It really doesn't make a big deal at all, you know. There's like so many, you know, rather than focusing on trying to get top rated seller, just focus on getting more items to sell or finding more profitable items, and you'll make 10 times the amount of money than if you're trying to focus on top rated seller, which really counts for nothing. And so basically don't be alarmed if you get this. It doesn't matter. It seems that it doesn't matter from people's experiences. And I mentioned how I think I got one in the past. The reason I say I think I got one, I'm not 100% sure, is because I never got one. If I did get one, I think it was on an account that I stopped using a long time ago, and I logged into it months later. Like I had nothing listed for months, and I saw that I got this. I think that happened. I'm not 100% sure, but and that's happened with other people, like people who have old accounts which they haven't listed on for months. There's been no listings up there for months, and then eBay sends you this message months later, after like when the account's been dead for months. So that's kind of strange. Like, so getting this letter, it doesn't say anything about recent activity. Like it might, but you know, in the examples I've just given, it doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they've caught you red-handed dropshipping now, because, you know, people's account who's had no action for many months, they still get it. So it's just strange. Strange. And so I don't know, man. I mean, so like I didn't get this today. Some people in the comments, I don't want to like go in it to like, you know, people might want to stay anonymous in terms of the chat. Guys, first of all, come join this group. You know, we talk about all this kind of stuff. We give each other tips how to make money, the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. So do yourself a favor and come join this group. I'll put the link in the description of this video. And I think someone in the comments mentioned they were using Amazon as a supplier. I mean, me personally, I'm using Amazon as a supplier right now, selling lots, making good profit. And I didn't get this letter. I didn't get this thing today. I've never got it. And I've always been using Amazon. And that's the case with many of my friends. We've always been using Amazon for well over a year, and we haven't got these things. So to say, like, as a rule, Amazon gets your account flagged as a rule 100%, that's not quite right. It doesn't 100% get you flagged. It seems like you're more likely to get flagged in the US if you use Amazon than in the UK. It seems like that. Again, can't say 100% sure with any of these things with eBay dropshipping. But yeah, man, I use Amazon. I keep using Amazon. I've got access to gift cards. I wasn't going to tell you this maybe, but no, I'll tell you this. I've got access to gift cards. So if you're buying Amazon on every day, drop me a message and I can save you a massive percentage on the back end. And again, you don't need to rely on the back end. You don't need to rely on gift cards to make thousands a month. You can do it without that. But if you can have gift cards and more than double your money, then why the hell not? Come to me, come into my group, send me a message if you want to make the most out of this extra profit. So guys, I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you got some value out of it. If you want to make the most amount of money in the shortest time possible without getting your account closed, then of course subscribe to my channel, watch the rest of my videos. And as always, leave a like, leave a comment, and see you in the next video. Thank you very much. And goodbye.